everyone, good afternoon, and welcome back to our chat, Loveseat for Two. My name is Michaelia, and this is my husband, Andrew.
Hi.
He is the author of the book, Marriage, a Loveseat for Two. So today we are going to be talking about conflicts, and boy, if you've been following us the past few minutes, you know we've had some conflicts to resolve with our live stream today. Where we were trying something new. It's not quite worked out yet, so we're back to our original method of coming to you live. But we'll get it figured out because conflicts are there to be resolved, right? And so that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today in our little discussion. We're going to be talking about conflicts and what is good about conflicts. When you think of it, you're thinking conflict, good? Well, how is that? But there are definitely some good things that can come out of having conflicts. And so we're going to be talking about that today. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn over to Andrew and he will take it away.
Yes, good afternoon again, and thanks for allowing us in your space and for lending us a little bit of your time. Today we're talking about conflict, and by way of definition, we'd like to say conflict is a disagreement or a difference in opinion, or conflict in opinion, competing opinions, competing feelings about a particular matter. But conflict, as my wife indicate, can be good in the sense that conflict reveal what's important to the parties involved. We know that as men and women, we differ, our wirings are different. The things that appeal to us are not necessarily the same. And so many times we may have differing opinion about arriving at a particular conclusion.
Yes.
And so today we want to look a little bit about conflict, look a little bit at conflict, and to allow us not to be so afraid of conflict, but to recognize that if nothing else, conflict really reveals to us what's important to the other person. And so in learning what is important to the other person and in verbalizing what is important to ourselves, the conflict comes about when we cannot bring the two sets of ideas or the two sets of feelings together. And so I kind of look at conflict almost like a jigsaw puzzle, where you have different pieces and you will have to sit down and figure out, use your observational skills, and figure out which piece go where until you get the puzzle solved. And you and I know, those who've ever done a jigsaw puzzle, the process can be challenging, but when it is done, the finished product is very rewarding.
Wonderful, yes.
And just yesterday, I was visiting with an elderly gentleman, and he was working on a puzzle for a few months. And he was still enthused about it because an older gentleman, and the pieces actually, putting the pieces together actually keeps him sharp. And so conflict in your relationship, they are there to actually keep you sharp. They are there for you to recognize, and they are reminders that the person that you're married to or the person that you're in the relationship with, they are different from you. But that difference shouldn't scare you. That difference should be a challenge for both of you now to work together to see how we can use our differences to make us stronger. Yeah. And so one of the rules of engagement where conflict is concerned in our relationship is that both people in the relationship needs to recognize that I am not in this for my own victory. I am in this for our victory. Because there are really four results from a conflict. One, the individual wins. Two, the individual lose. Three, both people end up with a draw. And fourth, you have a win-win situation. Now,
Hi, Bertha.
if you win, your husband and wife, and let's say the husband wins the conflict or wins the conversation, his wife is going to feel like a loser. And nobody likes to feel like a loser, and nobody likes to be around a loser. And so your victory will be short lived because the environment in your space is not going to be conducive for camaraderie, because you're feeling I won, the other person lost, and now one is nursing their wounds and the other one is trying to tiptoe around not to rub salt in the injury. And so where one win, it means that the other person lose. And then you have the situation where neither person wins, neither person lose, and they just decide to call a truce. They're arguing about a particular matter. Nobody's conversation seem to be stronger. Arguments seem to be stronger. Nobody is relenting. And so you end up with a stalemate, and each person just basically goes to their corner to regroup and possibly to come back and fight again. But then there is a fourth option, which is the win-win situation, whereby I know that what I want is important, and I also know that what my wife wants is important. And then because our objective now is for us to win, then we now determine what is it that I want, a part of what I want that I can live without, and what is it that she wants that I can live with. And so when we take that approach, we find ourselves putting the different pieces of the puzzle together in order for us to have a finished product.
And if I can interject here, sometimes what you think your spouse wants, you may not think it's important. So even outside of that, just the fact that it's important to the spouse should make it important enough for us to want to deal with it. And so going back to the analogy of the puzzle, even though this particular small piece of the puzzle doesn't seem to fit or it doesn't seem important, if you toss it out and not deal with it, when the puzzle is complete, something will be missing.
Well, the puzzle will not even be complete. The puzzle will
not be complete. Exactly.
Yes. Right. As my wife mentioned, the whole thing about something being important, things being important to each person. One of the worst things we can do in a relationship is to tell the other person that what they're feeling is not important or not even legitimate. And so sometimes people bully the other person into accepting their case. And it really isn't a healthy resolution, because they are just accepting because they're forced
complying.
Right. They are not even accepting, they are complying, which really means they are not sold on the idea. All right. But when we seek now to resolve the conflict, we're seeking now to consider both sides, and then we're seeking how to advance each person's desires in the decision-making process. So we'll find that, and we'll have to be prepared to give up some things in order to get a finished product. Because there are some pieces, some parts, some thoughts, some ideas that may not be conducive to this particular situation. And we have to be man enough or woman enough and honest enough to say, you know what, I may have gone on an ego trip insisting on this particular thing when it really doesn't impact the overall picture or the overall objective that we want to get to. And so we have to enter the conflict always thinking about the we, the you and the me, and not the you are the me. Right. And once we take that kind of an approach, we are likely to get somewhere in terms of conflict resolution. Now, let's give you an example. It may be a simple one, but it is an example nonetheless of a conflict situation. Now, in my setting, in our setting, I am not necessarily somebody that goes out a lot unless my job, church or being a pastor requires me to be somewhere, to do something. I kind of like being home. I like being home. I like being with my family. But I also like my own time, my own space, and I like watching TV. And there are times when I go all day long and I come in at nights and just watching a show kind of relaxes me. But sometimes I get home a little bit late, and my insisting on watching my show means that my wife is gonna get to bed before I do. And so there are times when she gets to bed before I do, and I'm here watching the TV, sitting on this very love seat.
Yeah, by himself.
watching TV. And she is in her room, in our room, really
by myself.
yeah, by herself, and she's fuming. She's fuming over it. And in the while she's there, she's pretty much concludes that I consider watching TV more important than she is. When in fact it's not so much that I consider TV more important than she is, but it is what it's a means of relaxation. So when I go to bed, I just go to sleep. But I had to also take into consideration the legitimacy of what she is saying.
Thank you.
Because if I come every night and this is what I do every night, and every night she falls asleep. By the way, she has difficulty falling asleep without me in the bed. That's just
yeah, he's my security blanket.
that's just our reality. I don't mind that reality. That's just our reality. All right. So for her wanting me in the bed when she's going off to sleep, it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean that she wants to monopolize my time or deprive me of my downtime. It's just that she doesn't go to sleep unless I'm there in the bed with her. She has difficulty doing that. And so I now have to either continue going to bed, and then when I get to bed, there's this icy thing going on. And
that brick wall we talked about a few episodes back.
Right. Either I prepare myself to constantly go through that, and then we wake up in the morning. We slept in the night, but we wake up or we're not rested.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it takes a while for our day to get together, and it takes a while for us to get on the same page. And then if night comes and I go back to doing the same thing, then the cycle continues, and this thing continues to mount. So what starts as a small thing, continuing over a period of time, now becomes a big thing. And so now I have to make the decision that on evenings or on nights when I come in very, very late, even though I want to watch a movie or something, it's necessary and it is better for me to just go to bed, just get to bed, and maybe have a conversation, some pillow talk, and then we get good sleep. We wake up in the morning refreshed, and we are not butting heads in the morning because we didn't go to bed well at night. And so that's something that, a decision that I have made in the interest of us over the interest of me.
And if I can add my side of it to the pot as well, we talked about the fact that my motivation is not to monopolize his time. So for me, if it's not every night, if it's not a consistent thing, I can work with that. So I am willing to give a couple of nights where, you can do, where he can, watch his shows or just relax. That's fine. But the challenge, the conflict came when it was becoming an extended period of time. And that's when it started to become a challenge. So yes, he gives on his side where he comes to bed so that I can be, appeased. And I give on my side where I do allow for him to, stay up a few nights so that he can still get, whatever relaxation he gets out of watching TV, which, by the way, in my book, TV stimulates you, not relaxes, but that's for another discussion.
Right. That's where we have another possible conflict.
Exactly.
Because her approach to TV, her opinion about TV in that regard is different from mine. Right. So that's one thing. Now, we have been able to arrive at a solution here, because again, we value us more than how we value the
Exactly, the
me.
individual.
And when you get into a relationship, when you get into a marriage, for those who are courting now and you're looking to get married, you have to be prepared.
Thank you for the hearts, Lisa.
Yes, you got to be prepared for the fact that it's not about me anymore. It's not a me
about
thing.
us.
It's a we thing. If you're not prepared for the we thing, then you want to stay by yourself. Otherwise, you're going to make your life miserable and somebody else's life miserable. All right. So this is the two become one kind of a situation where whatever affects one really affect the other,
yes.
and affect both, and ending up affecting the marriage itself. Now, one of the other things that you have to one has to consider in dealing with conflict is that we have to, each party has to be prepared to listen to the other person. I listen to you because I value how you feel about a matter. I value you. I value you as a person. So whatever it is that you're expressing as an opinion, or something that you feel strongly about, or something that may have something to do with your values growing up, conflict sometimes bring those to the fore. And so it is significant that we listen, because there is information being passed on if we're able to just be observant enough to listen. And we have to listen actively. And active listening requires not doing something on the side while the other person talks, but just sit there and give them your full attention.
Yes, being present in the moment.
Present in the moment. Your time is really one of those non-renewable resources. And so when you give that to somebody, you're telling them that they mean that much to you, to receive or to take from you your most valuable resource, which is your time. All right. Then the other thing that you have to consider is love. That big thing called love. I love you enough, and we're still talking about listening. I love you enough so to listen to what you're saying. I love you enough to recognize that whatever it is that's an issue to you now becomes an issue to me. Because if you hurt, I'm hurting.
Right.
If I'm not feeling so well about a matter, then it's not okay for you to just go off and say, well, you'll deal with it. You'll be a big boy or you'll be a big girl and deal with it. Sometimes that can be dangerous, because rather than somebody dealing with it, the person leaves with the thought that you're saying their thing is not important enough. Their feelings about a matter is not important enough. And then even their own self-esteem comes now under question. He doesn't consider me smart enough to have a cogent conversation. And therefore he shuts me down or walks out of the room before I'm done talking. One of the things we were taught as young men by one of our pastors, early pastor, Reverend Scott. He told us as young men that if you're going to get married, you better be prepared when your wife wants to talk. You stay there and listen. Don't talk about you going out to clear your head and you're gone all night and you come back and you never address the situation that's on the table. Now, it's one thing for you to be getting, you see yourself getting angry, and this is a way of calming down. But after you calm down, the issue that you were discussing is still alive until you guys get to some level of resolution.
Right.
All right. So while we know that conflict is not always easy to resolve, and conflict will require sacrifice and compromise. We don't like to use that word, but it's a necessary word. Conflict will require those things. But once you're able to solve an issue or solve a problem, it adds so much more dimension to the relationship. And it gives that relationship deeper roots so that you can get through the storms that are up ahead. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, in this 2017, we're here to tell you that as much as you're in love with each other, there is conflicts on the horizons, but you don't need to fear conflict. What you need to do is see them as opportunities for you to know more about yourself and know about your partner, and to work on the conflict so as to strengthen what you have. Remember, it's not about me or you, it's about us. It's about the we. All right, so we've gone on a little bit long today, but we just wanted to touch base with you. We thank you for bringing us in your homes, and we pray that this year you'll have a good success in your conflict management and conflict resolution. But if you didn't hear anything else today, please make sure to listen. Be an active listener to what your partner is saying. Listen to figure out what is the source or the root of the conflict. Many times when people begin to talk about what's affecting them, they don't generally rush to the meat of the matter right away.
That's true.
They are talking and they are gathering information to see, is this a safe environment for me to be vulnerable? All right. So we as active listeners, we create the environment that says it's safe for you to say what's on your mind and to say how you feel about a matter. I will value what you say. I will not ridicule you for it. And together we can work towards a solution. All right, so we hope this has been a blessing to you. Those who will be watching the rebroadcast, we're going to ask you to like, we're going to ask you to share.
And give us the hearts and the likes.
Yes. We thank you, Lisa, for tuning
Always
in.
being with us.
We thank you, Bertha, for watching.
Thank you, Sister Bertha, for coming on today.
Yes, and please place your opinions and your questions on as you see fit. And may God bless you.
And if there are topics that you would like for us to delve into, also feel free to get in touch with us on that as well. We would certainly love to hear what you want to hear so that we can bring that to you. All right?
All right. Thank you.
God bless you, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.